Hey, morning. I did something today that I had never done before, I realized, and that is that I traded a couple of rocks with another rockhounder. I never really thought about that, but now that I am thinking about it, I'd never done it before, so it was kind of neat. She's a hell of a negotiator. I met her yesterday, the day before, and we spent like a couple hours just looking for rocks right across the street from her house. And she's um, a really neat little girl, as smart as a whip, 10 years old, got some good parents and a really decent brother. And anyway, it was a neat family. I met them all yesterday for the first time. Anyway, her name's Claire. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what I got here. Okay, this one here, first of all, is a piece of agate that I've had this one for a while, but I wanted to show it to you because it relates to the rocks that I got. Yeah, put some water on it. So you can see some color on this beautiful rock. Now this piece off here is chipped off on the end. I broke it open. I wanted to see how stressed it was. And you can see right, especially in the bottom part, there's a lot of fractures in it. And that tells me this rock is under a lot of internal stresses, or was at one time. And so I also think it's a really good rock for tool making. Not being a tool maker, I can't say that for sure, but it sure looks like it would really flake off nicely. But because it's under stress, what they would do with this first is they would heat treat it. So they'd throw it in the fire with the coals, let it heat up, cool overnight, and then start making a tool out of it. Anyway, that's a really cool one. I've had that for a while. And here's another one. I'm gonna put some water on it too. Another piece of chalcedony. This was a piece of sedimentary rock, I believe, because if you look really closely, I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, there's some lines in there where there's layers where this thing built up over time. And then at some point, the thing underwent the process of silicification, and it became a fossilized piece of sandstone. The exact same process that bones go through, most bones. Now I wanted to show you those, and then I wanted to show you this little monster. Now this is one of the rocks that I traded with Claire for. Now what she got out of it was a rock about that big that was a solid piece of copper ore with amethyst crystals growing out of it all over. It was really beautiful, and she really liked it, so I was glad for that. This is a beautiful piece of another piece of sedimentary rock that has undergone complete solidification. This thing is effectively a solid block of glass. And you know, it's really cool how the process of solidification preserves, you know, every single layer, you know, that built up this rock over hundreds of thousands, if not more, years, millennia, or millions of years, you know. And then for the solidification process to go through, you know, there's another, you know, I don't know how many millions of years or however long that takes. I really just don't know. But it obviously takes a long time. But I just thought, man, what a cool little representation of, you know, a little piece of our planet getting built over time. I wonder if that thing would crack open. Boy, that crack goes all the way through it, doesn't it? I didn't see that before. Shit, now it'll probably crack it just setting it down. Anyway, now, as far as those silica rocks that we were looking at, she had this little monster that I just had to have. I picked it up and I was like, my God, what is that thing? It looks like it's machined. It is so perfectly round. And somebody at one point in time cut out a piece of it with a saw. There's a big old saw line. There's like a little remnant, or a little lip, where they just got it down that small and it just snapped off probably when they were cutting it. But, you know, how is this thing so round? What I believe this is, my brother suggested, and I think he's probably right, is back in the old days when they were, you know, exploring this area for mining, I'm sure they did the drilled cores, just like they core ice samples in Antarctica. And so they just core it out and they just pull it up, so they can see what's underneath before they start digging, or maybe even before they file a claim. I don't know. But what's cool about it though is that the edges are kind of super eroded, right? They're smooth, just like this is. This is machined. It's kind of continues on, like it was machined. I don't know. It looks eroded. It doesn't look like this part of it is machined. You can see how opaque this thing is. Isn't that neat? Anyway, I just thought this was a really super cool rock, and thought you guys would enjoy it. So turn you around so you don't get dizzy. All right, thanks. Enjoy, and kudos to Claire. She's got a great rock hounding future in front of her, and she's such a bright girl. She's got any kind of future she wants. So, thanks again. Keep looking down. You never know what you might find.